Right, so it's the next day and the oil pump sag continues. There's the oil pump of the new engine. I feel like I've been here before. I had made up that adapter to this one to move where the belt tensioner went, and I just wasn't happy with it. I was noticing just, as I was rotating it, there must have just been a bit of flex in that, or maybe it's not totally flat. And the timing belt was sort of starting to wander off the cam belt. So what I did was I got the old one, and I couldn't fit. Hang on, I'll just grab it. Yeah. So I got the old one, and I couldn't fit this part of the oil pump in. This is the old one because it was just slightly too big, because the new oil pump's a bit bigger. So I took some slightly drastic measures because I thought, I'll go for broke. What I do to the old oil pump doesn't matter because it's not being used anyway. So I decided, it was one of those ones, I was just in the house last night and I had a bit of a mad idea and I decided to go for it. What I've got here is a honing tool that spreads open. And I basically just use this tool on the drill. It spins around, and I basically just shoved it in here on the oil pump and just slowly did a wee bit, took a bit of material off, tried fitting the new oil pump cog, did a bit more, just until it had a really nice snug fit, but not too snug, so it didn't cause extra wear. I don't know if it's going to work long term. I'm just going to try it. But what that's meant, now that I got that to fit, is that the old oil pump housing with the new oil pump inside is now fitted to the engine, which means I can use the original timing belt tensioner. So no messing around with the timing belt. The timing belt's now on really, really nicely. I turn the engine over and it's just exactly as you'd expect. I'm basically just going to have to watch. The first time we start the engine, I'm going to be like a hawk on the oil pressure. If we get any if we get any of the oil light coming on, I'm going to have to shut it down and figure something else out. I'm going to, in the meantime, while we keep putting the car back together, I'm going to get on the Daihatsu and order an ED10 oil pump, because I have no evidence to suggest, but I think the ED10 oil pump will be the perfect mix because it's off a single cam, and hopefully because the slightly bigger engine has that bigger bore oil pump, and we'll be able to use an ED10 oil pump housing on there, and it should hopefully just bolt on and just work. So, but that'll have to come from Japan, so it'll be 3-4 weeks before that comes in. So I think if we try and get the car running off what I've made here, hopefully we're okay and we can get the car going. If we have issues, then I'll swap it over. But I may as well just get one of these oil pumps anyway and swap it over at some point just to find out if it is right. Next thing for the engine is the turbo drain. I've got the pipe and everything for it here. I basically just need to take the oil pan, find out exactly where I need the 90 degree to come out of, cut the hole, try and get it relatively high up so it's above the oil level. Oil level will probably be right here. So up here somewhere preferably, weld that in and then fit it up to the engine, bolt the sump on, and then we can start doing the final engine assembly. Then once that's done, we can go back in the car. So next thing I have to do is I'm going to put the drain on the turbo. I'll probably need to cut it with the Dremel. I just need to figure out where I'm going to cut it. The drain for this has a bit of a kink in it. I think it normally sits like that. No, hang on, I need to think about this. Yeah, I think it normally sits like this. Turbo here, this drops into the sump here. Grand. You can see here that kinks in, so it hugs the block. What I'm wondering is, I wonder if I can flip it around so it comes out, because I need it to come out to get into the oil pump, and just figure out where I need to cut it off. Do I need to cut it here, or could I even get away with cutting it off down here and just having a small piece of tube to connect it? Because that moving it out might just put it just neatly down the side of the front of the block and just drop in front of the oil pan. So the next thing to do is just test fit this, see where it ends up. This is how it originally went, like that, and went through a hole in the block here. I'm thinking something like that. I'm gonna have to fit up the oil filter and the engine mount on this side to make sure I'm not fouling on anything. Yeah, so I've just got the oil filter mocked up here. It's not tightened down, and then I've got the engine mount there. So this looks pretty perfect. I also have this old 90 bend. You know, we might not even need to cut the pipe. Might be able to just weld something onto the sump there and just clamp that straight on. Don't know. So it's like literally just straight through there, into there. I see there's a bolt hole here. I hope that's not for anything important or we're in trouble. Don't know. See. Not sure whether I should just put a straight bit in there, cut it off right away, and just stick that in on top. Probably not a terrible way to do it. Or if I try and put the right angle in. The problem I'm having is the right angle is quite a large radius. It's not really tight. Yeah, so I got the hole drilled. See there? And you can see the pipe just coming through this side. So I thought I'd just throw it back on. Actually, just clean out some of the crap out of there. Just want to keep as much of that out of the engine as we can. Although this whole thing will get cleaned and degreased before. Yeah, perfect. Right, so I've got the sump done up. You can see I've got my pipe weld in there. Excuse the horrible welds. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of space where I was welding this. I hope it doesn't leak oil. I'm going to have a bit of a nightmare. Just gave it a wee bit of black paint to stop it rusting up. I've got the whole surface and everything cleaned up. I'm going to give this just a wee test fit now, just to make sure everything still fits good. So, yeah, and there. Oh, that looks perfect. Yeah, so just comes straight down from the turbo in there. Drops straight into the oil pan. It's nice and high up on the oil pan, so we shouldn't have any problems with it. You know, if it was down here, it'd be going straight into the oil, so it might actually fill up a bit and just have a bit of resistance to the oil draining down. So that's looking all good. I just need to get a bit of sealant on here. I've got these spring clamps here, but they're not quite as tight as I like them, so I think I'm going to just get some Jubilee clips. Hopefully this isn't something that's coming on and off a lot. Hopefully I just sort of put it on once and that's it done. One thing I actually want to measure is from this point here. So this is where the engine mount sits on the front of the engine and comes out, and there's actually a subframe that sits here. Before I go all in with this, in case I've messed something up, I'm actually going to measure how far down the bottom of this is from here, in case it hits the front subframe. And I'll also have to measure how tall this is and then we can go to the engine and see. I won't be too happy if I've just done all that and I find out the engine won't fit in the car with that in. Yeah, it was something I hadn't thought about until I walked out today and saw the car and thought, ooh, that's actually quite close. So, we'll do that now. I'll be really, really annoyed if it won't fit. The worst will be if it's close and I think it will fit, and then we actually get to it won't. So, from sort of the middle of the bolt hole, so it's about, I'm just doing rough measurements here, so it's 75, yeah, it's 75 mil from the middle of the bolt to the bottom, and then from here to sort of the highest point is maybe about 65 mil. So I'll take you to the car. So this is that engine mount. Maybe shit. That doesn't look great. Middle of that's about 50, 55 mil. How far back is it? Because it needs to be actually quite far back. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not liking the look of this. I think for now I'm gonna not actually fully attach the sump or the oil drain, because I should be able to do it with the car in place. I just might need to get this, or just drop down this middle part of the subframe. I just don't want to attach that permanently and then find out it won't go in the car. So you look, it's not too far behind that mark, and it comes quite a bit lower. I do have the sump of the original engine, which we can use as a backup. That's part of the reason I did this one, even though it's dinged up. It's because I have a second one, so I'm just going to lightly zip that on. Probably put the rest of the engine back together, or I might even just try and drop the engine in, you know, throw the gearbox on it and drop it in as is. Yeah, the only thing we'll probably put the timing gear back together and the water pump and all back on, because then all we'd really have left is the alternator, which can be done in place. Yeah, we'll tidy up a few bits with the turbo. I don't think this is going to fit now that I've done it. The reason I'm not going to try and redo it now or really check it is because I don't know how else I would do it without going the original route and actually drilling through the block, which I really don't want to do. I don't think I have the kit to really do it properly. So I think we're just going to have to leave this as it is for now. We'll see how we get on. Yeah, don't know what else I would do. Unless maybe we, you know, routed this round a bit and like stuck it more in the front. We'll just have to see what happens when we try and drop the engine in. But yeah, I think for now I'll start trying to stick the engine actually back together. So I'm just hitting one problem after another. If you see this gap here, yeah, you can see it big better there. Between here, that's the extra height in the new block, because those should fit together, which then means that the timing belt cover doesn't fit, and I'm just sort of like, I'm this far in, I think I'm just going to cut it there. But I think before I do any of that, I'm going to try and test fit the engine in the car. I'm just going to chuck it in, throw the front and rear mount on and see if it fits, because I'm not hopeful that this is going in. So I'm just going to do a test for the engine. If this is okay, then I think we head forward with it. And I think I should be able to cut this and just even put just a wee strip of thin steel welded on. Thankfully this is steel. Make it a bit taller. I'm gonna have to do the valve cover as well for the breather, so it's like I'm already this far in. It's just one more thing. I was looking up there, seeing if I can find the 850cc cover, because it should fit. I might see if I can order one. For now, I'm just going to run with this. So just get it in. So I think I'm just going to put the crane, lift it, stand it away, and in. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. Main question of having the new block in is this turbo drain. You can see the pipe coming out there, 90 into there. I think I might need to trim down the 90 and just try and bend this in slightly. The engine's kind of tilted over to one side because there's no gearbox. I think in reality it'll sit something like that. At worst case like that. There's still there should still be enough room that we can make something work. I'm gonna go get the wee bit of rubber now. So that's how it is at the minute. Well, actually I think that's okay. So if I really try and sort of, like, it touches, but I think it should be alright. Even if I move this all the way over, and that's way canted over. It's okay. Perfect. Let me see if you can see that good. Just drops into the sump there, and you can see now no matter what, it does clear. No. Perfect. So we know that's okay in that position. I can take that off and finalise it all up. I think we'll lift this back up, stick it back in the engine stand. The one problem is now I've got everything out. I really should get the engine in today. So I better get to work. First thing, I need to take off the sump again and seal it up and put the pickup in. That's the first thing. Lovely. Just split it in two pieces. Yeah, so I've got the engine out now, and I've got it on the pallet here. I'm just gonna try and get the flywheel clutch transmission on and get it back in. Oh, I think I need one of those crane engine balancers. That's a fucking nightmare. But it's in now. I'm gonna put the bonnet back on and I'm gonna go have dinner. I'm fucked.